which fight on this card, other than the top two, you know, those are the obvious ones, right? The title fights, are you most looking forward to? Sleeper fight.
You know, there are great fights all across this card, you know, and obviously the heavyweight fight is a big one. I think that's going to be...
Which one? Ngannou-Rozenstruik?
Ngannou versus Rozenstruik. I think that's going to be bananas. I honestly think my man, God, I'm drawing a blank on his name. Yorgan De Castro and Greg Hardy. That's going to be a fun one. I just think the heavyweight fights are going to be...
what about Oleinik Verdum?
Very excited.
On the ground, those two grapplers?
Having Verdum back is going to be good, but I think that's a great fight. But I do believe that Verdum has the ability to stand, right? Verdum outstruck Velasquez and won a fight standing until Kane got stuck in the submission. So he has so much more skill in terms of stand up. It'll be tough for Oleinik. Jeremy Stephens versus Calvin Kattar. That's the fight that I'm excited about, because I spoke to these guys earlier this week on the phone, both of them, and let me tell you something. They're ready to bring bombs, both of them. Both are talking about the same types of things, you know, the weaknesses they see in their opponents, the ability to exploit those weaknesses, the desire to go and get a big finish. I mean, and plus, if you just watch their fights, even in defeat, these guys usually will raise their stock. Calvin Kattar lost to Zabit, right? And 3-round fight. But you can say that through the end of the whole second half of that fight, Calvin Kattar pretty much was right on par with him, if not winning. He won the third round, but you know, we see in the first round, say he could have stole one of those takedowns. He might have won that round. It was a very, very close fight against Zabit, who's a guy that is targeted or looks like a future UFC champion. And, you know, the Yair Rodriguez, Jeremy Stephens fights were fantastic. So you got two of the most exciting fighters in the UFC, both coming off losses, but both have raised their stock in those losses. And they're both known for like just explosive, exciting fights. And that's going to be a great fight on the main card of UFC 249.
I really like the Bryce Mitchell-Charles Rosa fight. Bryce Mitchell is so much fun. 12-0. Last time we saw him, Twister, he's a little wacky, if I'm being honest. I mean, the guy eats squirrel soup, for God's sakes. Have you ever had squirrel soup? Have you ever eaten squirrel in any way, shape, or form?
No, I've never had like, it's called like roadkill. I've never eaten like roadkill or any of that stuff that like squirrel and rabbit. I won't eat rabbit. I don't like that venison or whatever deer is.
Yeah.
Joe Rogan's always eating elk like that. Why does that meat look so red? It's so disgusting. I'm like, Joe, don't eat that, man. Like that's a little bit much. But on all those fights, right? We talked about essentially all you know, the main card big fights. But when you look down at the very beginning, I mean, even on the Fight Pass prelims, they got great fights with Luke.
There ain't no Fight Pass prelims, DC. All the fights are airing on ESPN.
Yes. On ESPN Plus. Sorry, ESPN.
No.
ESPN early prelims on ESPN Plus, right?
Get your act together, bro. You're calling the fight.
ESPN.
All ESPN.
These guys
How about that? I mean, there's nothing else going on.
These guys made it.
They made it.
These guys. I mean, the guys on the beginning of the fight cards are going to be getting big time viewership.
Yeah, Luke.
Yeah, that's a big one, right? Is that not a big one?
Yeah, no, it's a great fight. It's a great fight. Luque coming back, going up against Nico Price, who's also a little bit wacky, you know, with his moves, unconventional. Tony Ferguson. By the way, what do you make of these Tony Ferguson workout videos? Do you think they're legit? Like, does he really do that?
I think Tony Ferguson is a wild man. I really do believe he's a wild man, and I think he's doing some of that stuff. I do believe that he buckles down and goes just to work, too.
Right.
You'd be a fool to think that Tony Ferguson doesn't at times just go, you know what, let me get some real, he gets real work in 95% of the time. And then 5% of the time he's messing around, you know, kicking poles and doing all that other stuff. But the vast majority of Tony's training is real training. I mean, you don't win 12 fights in a row against the level of competition that he had without doing that. So yeah, he might do some of that.
Stacking stools, then he's like doing one arm push-ups on top of them.
5% of his training is done in that way. The rest of the time, Tony's hitting his pads, he's grappling, he's wrestling, he's sparring, he's doing things the way that most fighters do. Don't be fooled, man. That's why Tony Ferguson is a bit of a master of show you the left hand while he's really doing things with the right hand, right? Because everybody, oh, he's so different, he's so odd, Tony Ferguson's getting his work in. Don't get tricked.
It's amazing. If I could pick two guys who I would choose to be the perfect candidates to fight on a card like this, like, it's all the great unknown. Like, once we get to the 13th and the 16th, we'll probably have a better sense for how fight week's going to go and the empty arena, all that stuff. But if I could pick two of like the wackiest guys to headline a card like this, it would probably be Ferguson versus Gaethje, right? Like, two guys who throw caution to the wind, who don't care about anything, who are just a little bit different than all of us, but that's why we love them, right? I mean, I cannot foresee a scenario where this fight doesn't entertain us, right?
No.
You know, sometimes they're like, there's no way this will go the distance, and then it goes the distance and it sucks. I feel very confident in saying, like, next week, I will put this show's reputation, I will put the future of this show on the line. If this fight sucks, we are done. How about that?
It's not gonna suck. There's absolutely no way. You remember how excited we were for Adesanya versus Romero? I mean, everybody was like, but then that happened, right? But you also knew that there was potential that could happen. Both guys love to counter. Romero wants to explode. Adesanya's not going to put himself in too much danger. He's too smart a fighter for it. So the fight went as it went. But this one, you have two dudes that throw caution to the wind. And I'm not saying... I think part of the reason Tony Ferguson can fight in the way that he does is, one, he's so tough that he's not afraid to put himself in bad situations. Kevin Lee had him mounted in the first round and beat him up for most of 5 minutes. But he understands that when he can get through that fire, he can put a pace and cut you and beat you up so bad, he'll finish you. Justin Gaethje is the same kind of way, right? When Michael Johnson was hitting him with shots that have floored guys for years, he went through that fire knowing that Michael Johnson will not be able to keep up with him. And their willingness to be in trouble is what makes them so special and so exciting, because they're not holding anything back. They don't fear anything.